probably going to deafen myself.
And welcome, mortals, to the first episode of Match of the Deity, not TM. Don't sue us, please. I'm your host and the DM for the Reign of Olympus campaign. I'm joined tonight by a group of. It says here on my script, Mighty Olympians. I don't think they've logged on yet.
Ooh.
Yes. That's why it's as you may or not already know, in the Reign of Olympus campaign that had its first episode on the 20th of February, rather than have me narrate at you for the Olympian gods, I've got this bunch of role players to star us in. So it just gives a lot more interaction for both players and viewers, because it means rather than have me answer prayers, these guys can ignore them. So yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So before we go any further, and with the questions on the debut and everything, why don't we, since no one's seen you guys before, or haven't seen you as the Olympians before, why don't you want to go around and introduce yourselves? We'll start with Bren, since he's bursting. His ego's bursting already.
I was told I had to behave. So, hi, I'm Bren. I play Hephaestus, the best god, and anyone who claims to be stronger is either what's Kratos or lying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay, Eddie.
Okay.
Ooh.
Shut up your face. Would you like to be yeeted? Because that could happen. Just saying.
Again.
Repeated.
So yeah, I'm Eddie and I play Hera. So understandably, Hephaestus hates me. So yeah, this is going to be fun. And I'm lovely, and I think everyone should be really, really nice to me and stay away from my husband.
Yeah, that's never happened once in the history of ever, but okay. Okay, Elliot.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I'm playing Hermes. On that note, I have a message to deliver to Luke. Have you checked the chat?
Not recently. I'm keeping an eye on the stream.
Just making sure, because a message has been put up saying we cannot hear you. So just double check.
You also.
I don't know whether it's accurate anymore. Mostly because sound is all off. But yeah.
Well, it's saying you can hear me. Maybe I'm just speaking loud enough.
Fair enough.
I will work on that. Zoe.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Hecate, and so goddess of crossroads, magic, witchcraft, that sort of stuff, and technically a titaness, not a goddess. So yeah. Hello.
Hello. I think we have a few more of the Olympians. Oh, we just have a Francis, I see. Francis, would you like to introduce yourself to the mortals that might be watching?
Hello, I am Persephone, Queen of the Underworld, Goddess of Spring, currently, I believe, in universe packing for my annual trip underground.
Okay.
Based in Attica, I've got a cleric of my temple is currently in the party.
There is. We have Mercy, who is a cleric of Persephone. I think you're the only one. No, there's two that have gods, but you're the only one online with a player dedicated to you so far. So you can lord that over the rest of them.
Isn't there 3 in total?
The other one isn't online at the minute. Ares isn't online.
Oh, yeah, no. Not real gods.
Nah,
Yeah,
I think
We've seen no evidence of them, so...
Yet. I think we do have an Ares and an Aphrodite online soon. In the meantime, you'll have to put up with this bunch of gods. Yeah.
I'm lovely. How dare you?
yeah, and I am the queen of the gods, so watch it.
No.
I'm saying nothing. I'm behaving. That's what I do.
Apparently we need to turn you on, Luke.
Oh, not again.
Sorry, up, Luke.
I have turned myself up as loud as I can get it.
Okay.
Hopefully that works. I'll just speak up. I'll just shout at you. You're not here for me anyway. You're here for these guys.
I'm just going to try and get us an Aphrodite in because she's being dramatic as always.
Hang on, I'll try and do this.
I need to rearrange my flowers.
Oh no! Oh wow!
Behave.
No, I'm
He
allowed.
doesn't know how.
I don't have it in me. I'm afraid.
That's the problem.
Yay! I'm good
Isn't
now.
it technically still winter, isn't it?
No, it's not still winter. It is about to be winter because we've just had the harvest. Well, we're currently going through the Harvest Festival, the Festival
Yes,
of Grapes.
good point.
Hey, and we have fashionably late as always, Aphrodite. Why don't you introduce yourselves, Emily? Selves? Yeah, self.
Introduce myself.
Yeah, well, there's just, so much personality there.
I've just been hanging out in Google Hangouts just on my own.
And now you know everything you need to know Emily.
Who do you want me to introduce, me or my or
Yourself.
Aphrodite?
Both.
Both.
Okay, so I'm Emily, and that's it.
What about Aphrodite?
I'm Aphrodite, and I'm from. Luke, do we say Cnidus?
Nidus. The C is silent.
Nidus.
Yes.
And I like doves. Doves of love.
Amazing. Right. Without further horribly tumbling into a chat, first question, I guess, before we talk about the campaign as a whole, partly because I think at least one of them is watching, two. What do we think of the players?
They're all right.
I've met one of them.
Luke, are we doing this in character or is it us?
And we're live.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Good start. Well done, Aphrodite.
Best role player, like DPC of a whole faction. She's awesome.
I
To
didn't
be
get
fair,
the
you
memo.
started by mentioning players, Luke.
Yes.
I did. What heroes? What do you think of our heroes?
When are they arriving?
Oh.
Why did I just laugh at your joke?
Because it was good. Anything I craft is a masterpiece.
To be fair, when he speaks, laughing is just something that comes naturally.
I was promised nakedness. There's no nakedness.
It's close.
Give me a bit.
Just say.
Yeah, Hephaestus did promise he'd be topless at some point, so stay tuned for that.
I will. Yeah.
Might not be the nakedness you're after, but it's the nakedness you've got.
Which reminds me.
Oh,
Oh,
do you
hello.
have to?
Yes, please.
Really?
Relax. I'm opening a window. Relax. Relax.
Aww. Oh, our viewership
It's
just kind of...
It's to yeet my clothes out later. It's fine.
Oh, that's fine.
He's used to a good yeeting.
Yeah, he really is.
I can't stick the landing though.
Oh, throwing out the shade already.
You're laughing. I saw you laugh, Aphrodite.
I'm not laughing. Don't know what you're talking about.
Laughter is not the same as approval.
Apparently,
This isn't my best side.
Topless on Twitch. Challenge accepted.
I was going to say, you waffle. Even for guys. Well,
I was about to say, I have nipple tape here somewhere.
I think that's allowed. Who knows?
It's well. I say
Excuse me, you have
tape.
nipple tape.
I say nipple tape.
How
it's
long have
duct
we been
tape.
married?
I was gonna
And
say,
you've
he's-
never mentioned the nipple tape.
His apron.
Anyway,
His apron chafes.
Okay.
it's the rubbing.
Okay.
Sorry, I've just got
so-
one of my men has just manservants has just brought me some food. Oh, Hephaestus, shut up.
I don't think he was even speaking at that
Well,
point.
he doesn't have to. I could hear him breathing.
I do that. It's called living.
But do you have to?
Yes, precisely.
Oh, mother dear, no.
Hermes, could you carry a message, please?
Yes.
Okay. Tell her to come back when she's relevant again, or she finds her husband, whichever happens first.
Mother, your husband's missing and you're completely irrelevant. That's how it works, yeah?
To be fair, he's always missing, and I'll deal with that later. I always do.
To be fair, I don't think he's missing. I think he's just avoiding you.
Same
Yeah.
difference for her.
Again, I'll deal with that later. I always do.
Throw too many
So,
guns. Yeah, the great.
Anyway,
the hero.
there was
I was going to say the great thing
yes,
about
the
this is,
hero's question.
unlike tomorrow, where I have to talk, tonight I can just kind of watch you guys go.
Just
Yes.
So, the heroes.
I think we could, let's start with the best, really, the dog.
I was about to say the
yes.
dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely the dog.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Silly.
like the dog.
Yeah. Okay. Birch.
Yes.
The German Shepherd.
We've got a good start there.
Yeah. So what do we think we have in store for Birch?
Death.
Death.
Wow.
Please.
I'm making armor for the dog.
Yay!
Yeah, okay, I do approve of that. That's good.
He has
I'll
to get
deliver it.
involved in everything. Everything.
Well, yes, he does. He really tries to.
I'm thinking that maybe Aphrodite's getting jealous of the dog. That's not a good sign.
Please.
The
I don't
dog's
get
getting more
jealous.
attention. Hang on, I'm just gonna get my wine. It is a wine festival.
Oh, true.
Oh, where is Dionysus when you need him? I need some wine.
He's probably
Passed out in a bush.
definitely
Yes.
passed out in a
generally.
I think wine would be nice right now, actually.
I'm lacking wine.
The bull has good form.
Oh, cowman.
I'd
yeah.
like to put out the cowman tried to barge a human and banged off its shield.
The cowman
Again,
doesn't know how
picked
to
up-
knock.
Yeah,
It,
he
it,
puts
it,
his
it
foot through
picked up
doors.
a shiny paladin to point it at a child it was stalking.
Yeah.
That was, I'm not gonna lie, that was one of my favourite moments.
That was
Entire
not
episode.
that was
be
not good
fair.
form.
No, but to be fair, it was out of concern for Birch, so that one gets it by fault me.
Also, what is that weapon it's wielding?
Of who's wielding? Runt, the cowman.
Yes, What is
Yeah.
that weapon?
It is. Ooh. The weapon he's wielding is called a Spartha, which is basically a.
I think you'll find it's not. It's called a piece of crap knocked together by an amateur.
Oh, it was a setup. I see what it is.
Here he goes. Here we go.
It's amateur work at best. I'd expect it from a Spartan.
Oh.
And to be fair, he doesn't have access to your smith, so...
So he settles for any tree branch he can pull off anything. Speaking of tree branches,
I was going to say speaking of Spartans, but yeah, that works too. I think we have an Ares who is
He's eating.
still
eating.
going down.
Hi.
Jack, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. My name is Ares, god of war. What else do you want?
Naked.
And enchiladas.
he's now.
Do you like
Oh.
Hello, darling.
Hello. Did you get the food I sent over?
Yes. Thank you.
Excellent. You're welcome.
Who might need a shirt? Who wants a shirt?
Doesn't need a shirt.
I'm quite happy, actually, because my sweet boy arriving has knocked Hephaestus off the little line at the bottom, so I can't see him anymore.
Oh. You can.
This is
Oh,
the seller.
savage.
To be fair, it's like most things. It's someone else did the work. She didn't bother.
Oh.
Right, moving on.
There's no home.
How about we talked about the dog. What about the hero with the dog?
Oh, she's adorable. She's very sweet.
I liked her.
Oh, God.
Really?
I say I liked her.
So,
She's a child.
she is. She's 13.
13.
Yeah, 13.
In which case she should definitely be kept away from Hera. She'll probably throw her somewhere.
Who, me? Oh, Hera. I thought you said me.
No, it's okay. She's not something that's a disappointment to me. She's lovely.
Give them all time. They soon will be, I'm sure.
I was about to say, we can't all be married to you.
I'm going to say, tactically, she's the most sensible. Going for the door.
Yeah.
I was going
Going for the door. Yeah.
I was going
Which
to say
kind
you
of
mean
shows
running.
she's not an Ares follower.
I was going to say running away.
Running away is definitely not an Ares follower.
She's got
I'm all
wits
for
about
running.
her.
Got wits, but
To be fair, she did also check what had actually happened with the woman whilst everyone else was stood.
Yes.
And that's not entirely true. The priestess did actually check the woman as well and stabilized her.
yeah, Mercy did
Yes,
her.
no,
did her
true,
thing,
but I
really.
mean, out of our heroes, the priestess was doing her job.
Yeah. So that's to be fair, to give credit there, they both did the right thing in that regard.
So I got a point for Mercy and a point for Alma.
Yep, Alma's traveling by herself, which is very independent of spirit in someone so young, which I approve of.
She's also creative. The fact that she was drawing a picture before the dog jumped in the river, I approve of creativity.
Okay, that's all points for Alma McAlmaface. How about the paladin in the room?
Yes.
Creepily stalked a child.
I was going to say, I feel like he got off to a
I
bad
like him.
start.
I was going to go in with the pun of he's a bit wet, but I think that's kind of the point.
Oh,
No.
there's always one. And it's usually you.
Yes, it is.
So yeah,
I like to deliver.
he like I say, he got off to a bad start. He had quite a socially awkward entrance.
Creepy.
Yeah, okay, that was creepy. And
He was
You remind me
on
of
the
Festus.
dog.
yeah, he was the first one on the ground as well.
That is true.
Yeah.
Also, if there was a small child wandering around on her own looking slightly shifty, I think I would also follow her too.
In Dionysus' city, that's the population.
I don't go to that city very often.
I do.
Remember.
To be fair, looking after the child is a good thing, and being worried and concerned is also a good thing.
Someone needs to look after them.
Maybe just working on the charisma and
Tact.
tact. Good word. So, last but not least, we briefly mentioned the tactics of it. How about Assassimar Cleric?
Say again.
Assassimar
Mercy.
Cleric. I'm still going to use that term
Mercy.
because it's amazing. Yeah, Mercy kind of erupted onto our screen, saying I didn't know how.
I'm not going to lie. I'm
Play
not
that.
going to call Mercy an Assassimar cleric. Mercy is a Sassamar cleric.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly that.
But I do like Mercy, actually, because Mercy seems to be one that just brokers no crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which again seems very indicative of her patron.
Yes.
Get things done.
Mm.
Bit on the grim side, which I don't really relate to right now, but give it a few weeks.
Yeah, give it a little bit.
I'm intrigued by the grim side. I don't get to see enough grim, so I like it.
I don't know. Haven't you seen
The
her
transformation is magical. That's not a good transformation.
No, actually, no. Rude.
Okay.
Well, someone had to say
Hermes,
it.
you flatterer.
Okay, so we'll talk more about the players later when we kind of explain how Favor of the Gods works.
I will say we haven't actually, and I hate to say this, we haven't fairly discussed Runt either.
Fair enough. Okay, I will talk about the cowman in the room, and the main thing that people care about in Runt, that voice.
It's his voice.
That voice.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Didn't even notice.
No, even I'm
You
going to admit it.
slid off your chair!
You sit on a throne of lies.
No, she didn't. She slid off it.
I must say I didn't really notice.
I'm going to straight up
Again,
admit
that
it.
smile says otherwise.
Tell you what, I noticed he's got a good voice.
He's one of
That
yours.
base.
To be fair, he has to have something good about him, so I suppose that's it.
Yeah, Ares, he's your champion, so what do you think of Runt so far? Well, say he's your champion. He's one of yours.
It's alright, I cut out there a little bit.
Just saying, what do you think of Runt? He's one of yours. He's a...
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Just yes.
Just
Yeah,
yes.
it's just a yes. yes.
He's doing well so far. I'm liking getting stuck in.
Ares is learning words, by the way. He's getting
Eloquent. Yeah,
That was
no,
there
he's-
was a 2-syllable word in there. We're all
Hey,
very
leave him
proud.
alone.
Shapes and number next.
I normally do the talking for him, so give him a break.
You do have to have
Okay,
a-
Aphrodite, what does Ares think of Runt?
He thinks he's marvellous. He thinks that his rippling muscles are delightful and that his voice could soothe anyone to sleep.
Are you sure he thinks that second one?
Aries, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
I will give a weapon to whoever smashes Runt's voice box.
Oh.
That is an open offer to anyone in all Elysium.
He always gets jealous.
And anybody who stops that person, I will train up to be the strongest Spartan.
It'll take 2 weeks.
Awkward.
When I do it, yes.
I want to move on to the next question, but this is also really fun to watch. I feel like an hour might not have been enough time.
I'm pretty sure we'll have more.
That is very
I
fair.
think so.
Okay, so we've talked about the heroes briefly. Like I say, we'll talk about them a little more later. What about you, Aphrodite? You said you don't go there much, which is a complete lie.
Excuse me, rude.
I can
It
do
is
that
the
because you
lie.
can't stop me.
Don't tell my husband.
What do
I
you
know, Dionysus tells me.
Oh, fiddle.
think- He's not here right now. Different system.
No.
Get out.
If I get out, we shut the whole thing down.
No, we'll just take over. It'll be fine.
I am the stream. So, Thebes. It's the first city we've seen. Bits of, at least. What do we think of Thebes? Obviously, there's a festival going on at the minute, so it's quite interesting. Anything...
Decidedly overpopulated by the undead. That's my big complaint. I mean, I've been there a fair few times. It's lovely, and there's less undead. The wine flows freely. It's a good city. Yeah.
So, Hecate, do you want to weigh in on that more undead means worse city?
Rude, for one, but I can see it being a problem at times. But yeah, you obviously just need to hire some necromancers, and that would be your problem solved.
Just to clarify, by the way, that's necromancers, not necromancers. I made that mistake once.
I can
Oh,
offer
so did
both.
I.
Yeah, but
You
they
made that mistake 20 minutes ago.
people make a lot of mistakes. It's how they learn.
Or don't.
Okay, how about everyone else? Actually, don't give away too many details, because they might get there, they might not. But compared to your own cities, which you all have, because you can't have too many of you too close together, look at this. If we had this the entire time, the whole place would be in flames. So compared to your own respective
I'm good with
cities-
flames.
My point exactly. What do we think of Thebes?
It needs more Aphrodite statues and more roses and more. Well, actually, there's quite a lot of nakedness, so yes, more Aphrodite statues, more roses, less clothes.
To be fair, there's probably quite a few people that run around with not very many clothes on.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Put it this way, you have to walk Alma through the streets like this. I give her a disadvantage on perception checks when walking through Thebes, just cause.
Is that why the paladin was hunting her? He's just like, I will save you.
Sweet summer child.
Is that it? Paladins in Thebes have their entire day spent just blinkering children? Like, is that all they do?
Oh,
That kind of
God,
almost
see,
makes
I
him sweet.
Yeah, I like him
Yeah.
now.
Almost, except I know the player.
Fair, yeah.
one of my favourite bits was it when Runt carried Alma out because she was scared about the death. I had a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit of a moment then. I mean, shh, Ares didn't say anything.
So yeah, what do we think of that? Because just briefly stepping out of this mad world, I think the player was kind of surprised that their character would do that. Obviously playing a 13-year-old child. I play a 12-year-old tiefling in another campaign. It's quite a different thing. So how do you think that went? Obviously, I think she handled it quite well, to be fair. Like, going in from a player side, then having the DM remind her, hang on, a 13-year-old might not handle this as well as an adult would. I think she handled that quite well, to be honest.
And as a druid who has presumably seen some stuff. Luke, what's our guideline on swearing in this?
It's fine, just don't say the C word.
Okay.
Good night.
Dyslexia.
Cool. So a druid who travels alone and sketches the wildlife has presumably seen some gore.
More
but
natural.
And murders and zombies are different, so I think she responded as a player really well. I was really impressed with that.
I did as well.
Yeah, I concur. As much as you are a druid and you've seen things, there is a certain point where you're still 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that there'll be more things like that, and you might have seen the difficulties already. It can be an interesting choice as a player to play someone young or like an opposite gender, like Jim has with Mercy or something like that. But essentially, there are going to be curveballs that you might not have thought of, like. Yes, you've got the more fun-loving side of a child, but how much rights does a child have in a city such as one in ancient Greece,
I'd also posit that the concept of the Minotaur, how would that be received by the general public? Because I don't imagine Minotaurs are that common. And so it's the same with half-orcs in the general D&D thing. It moves over as kind of a little bit threatening anyway.
Yeah, well, without giving away too much, but half-orcs are almost replaced by Minotaurs in this setting. They are still half-orcs, but they are almost the same kind of trope of they exist, there are some civilized, they're mainly warriors or servants or, labourers and things like that, with some differences because, again, it's a different setting, but it is kind of that. So, yeah, whilst it might seem like a great kind of on-the-surface choice, there are going to be some challenges based on those choices, and I think so far they've handled them quite well. We'll see kind of how that expands, I guess, but just wanted to get your guys' take on that as experienced LARPers and role players and players yourself.
Yeah, I think at first...
I didn't say good, I said experienced.
Didn't you at first sort of go like, yeah, I'm just standing here. Then I saw something in her click, and then she was like, no, I don't like this. Yeah, no, I'm totally, completely shell-shocked about the whole thing. So it was nice to see that thought process that she went through as a player to do that.
Yeah, and I like that as like getting people into roleplay, because this is going to be a very story-driven campaign. So I'm going to be trying to get them into roleplay a lot. So one technique I use is, for example, I don't know if you guys have ran games or been in games, or you guys at home, where people will say things, they'll start to talk in like, oh, my character kind of does this, or my character expresses anger towards this character. I think something that I'll be doing, and I'm doing now, is just going, okay, well, how would they verbalise that? What would they do to show that? Things like that. Especially for new players, obviously, or players that are more used to kind of the murder, hobo, rage, loot, repeat kind of aspect of the game.
We're talking about Runt there, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, we said murder hobo. He's not accurate enough to be a murder hobo yet.
His intelligence is his dump stat. It counts in my book.
I think it would be nice to watch the development from some people that aren't as confident with it going, my character does this, to going, I do this and I say this, and rather than going, oh, I explain this to them, actually explaining it to them, and that'll be a nice development.
Yeah.
Another bit I always like seeing in a character is when a character has a moment like that where they're like, oh my God, I'm traumatized by this experience. And then later on, how they deal with similar experiences as the character and how they develop that out.
Yeah.
Because that's always really interesting to see. Do they go back to, all right, I'm still terrified, and then it takes 2 or 3 to get by it, or do they try and push themselves and see where it takes the character? That's always one of the most interesting parts about these kind of moments.
Yeah, and on a similar note, moving that kind of character development through the group. They're a group that's not being connected at the moment, but they're going to find their footing with each other as well. And it's that further development as characters together.
Yeah. And
in a shared story.
That's something that I haven't said, but I've seen with you guys as well. Like, essentially, yes, you're NPCing this for me, and you're maybe more experienced than your average
Bear.
Jophocles. But I've seen that with you guys as well, like that character growth. Like, you've started off with the tropes that we see now, because you're very much in your base kind of default mode as these gods. But I've seen you guys grow and develop characters like that. You kind of learn from, oh, jeez, and then Hermes.
I've made everyone bad.
I was trying so hard.
And got so far, but in the end, you're all fools. So yeah,
I'm just going to point out that we're bringing it back down to the normal level.
I'm talking about how much you guys have grown and developed, and then you're playing with.
We're back to
wrong.
base level.
No. We haven't grown at all.
So are we just bringing them out now? Is that what we're doing?
Oh,
My
okay.
caduceus
Hang
come
on.
out all the time.
Oof!
Yeah, we're all nerdy larpers, so we all have these.
You say
Oh,
that.
I gave mine
I'm
away
pretty
today.
sure I have a sledgehammer in this room somewhere.
That's
Of course, you have a hammer
I
next
thought
to
that's
it.
just what you called your penis.
It's
No,
not.
no, it's not. I don't call that often. It seems very far away.
Oh, jeez.
I can make fun of it.
It's okay when I do it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just crying inside.
Right, so yeah, we were talking about Thebes before we got into this
We
deep
were,
stuff,
yeah.
and then
Oh,
the
yeah,
really
Thebes.
not deep
We were
stuff.
trying to, and then you derailed it.
Yeah, this is your fault, not ours.
Everything's my fault. Check social media.
Yeah, true.
It's true. I heard even Robert Sheehan was saying that.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
this is your fault.
With that.
Yeah, this thing and the 11,000 views or whatever, it's mainly Danny's fault, but it's your
Yes.
fault.
That's not mainly Danny's fault. That's your fault for doing it. And again, I'm just glad no one's reading the comments.
Who made you
And
make it public?
Yeah.
Who made you make it public?
Yeah, to be fair, it's Emily's fault. She's like, oh, I just need to share it with Glenn. Glenn, I can't show him in person. And I, like an idiot, did that, and now I'm a meme.
Whereas what you should have done is gone, why not show him on your account?
Yeah, I didn't
These people
realise
don't know what we're talking about, by the way, so maybe you should fill them in.
A lot more people know what we're talking about than watch this stream.
All right.
11,000 people.
And most of those are Puerto Rican, apparently.
Oh, really?
If my friend
So
requests
glad you-
over the past week have anything to say about it, yes.
For those
Honestly.
who don't know,
Well,
there's
if
a
my
scene
tweet words.
there's a scene in a Netflix show recently. I'm allowed to say it, am I?
Yeah, of course you are.
There's a scene in Umbrella Academy where they're all dancing. It's in the first episode, so it's not a major spoiler. And Luke decided to dress as one of the characters and
Laos.
do this dance. It's gone slightly viral.
Only slightly in the grand scale of things.
Only slightly. I'd like to point out, I had your back. Everybody else left you out to dry, man.
You did.
Right? I had your back.
And I appreciate it, and I thank you, and a lot of people have seen that post, but when 300 people share that post, they don't see you. They just see me acting a prat in a makeshift skirt.
Incoming delivery. It's been shared in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, also, I just have received a message. Everybody, Daddy says hello.
Oh, hello, Danny.
Oh,
Hi.
Hello,
Daddy
Thunder
Zeus.
Daddy.
oh, good. Husband dear
Yay.
says hello.
So I'm just being...
Please
Okay.
greet.
He's out with
Aphrodite,
another
please
woman.
greet Father for me.
Say again.
Please greet Father for me.
Will do.
He's out with another woman having
Done.
pancakes.
Yeah. I'm
a
just being
feed.
very conscious of my nipples right now, because apparently
Tell
that's
him
bad
to
on
put
Twitch.
it away and stop
That's
it.
that's why I've leaned forward.
Will do, Daddy.
It's a Thebes.
So many
Thebes.
nipples tonight.
Oh yeah, Thebes.
Okay,
I think thieves should be more defensible. Terrible.
Do you know what? For the first time only ever in my life, and probably again, I agree with Hephaestus.
To be fair, your city isn't very defensible either.
It is. It's called
like-
Spartans.
I said defensible, not idiots who run at things with a spear and hope. Like, it's all open, there's people everywhere, there's no real security. What you need is tight, narrow corridors and areas that you can funnel them into to just kill them with traps.
fair.
Always with the traps.
Yes, we all know about your traps.
They
Worryingly.
work, don't they?
Can we not talk about the trap?
He probably should shut his.
Which trap might they be speaking about? Something.
Nothing.
Was it built by? I thought it was built by someone called Annette.
Oh, we're back to the fishing puns, aren't we?
Thebes is a port town.
To be fair, no, this is not the place.
He speaks sense.
Okay.
To be fair, I was just cutting you.
Oh no.
But anyway, yeah, so it needs more traps and that. I'm going to offer them to Dio if he wants.
Okay.
A better way to deal with unliving is to not have them enter the city. Massive doors that you can close and no one else can open are also
I
helpful.
would argue that the best way to deal with them is to be friends with them.
I find not having them in the city helps.
That was a really weird comment, because out of context you sound like a massive hippie, but when really you're a massive necromancer.
Necro hippie.
And she is a titan, so yeah, massive.
Hermes' little laugh then, that was really cute.
Hey, don't bring me into that.
Wait. Are you saying you did necromancy before it was cool? Are you a hipster?
A hipster mancer. I'm just going to stop this before it goes any further.
No, Dio's the hipster.
Yeah, Dio is definitely the hipster.
So what does everyone else
Or
think
maybe
of these?
actually, before we move on, Hermes also a hipster because he's taken so many gap years to just travel.
Yeah. No, one. I have just taken one.
It's just one really
It's
long
extended,
one.
yeah.
To be fair, anyone who's tuning in right now probably thinks that we've got the second coming of Jesus sat over there. Right? We literally have hipster Jesus in the town.
Well, what's the quote? I rode to town on an ass. Your
that's much
mama's
better.
ass.
So what did everyone else think of these?
Yeah, go on, let's move this on.
He's done the hair now.
Much better.
Yep.
Oof.
If you wanted hipster Jesus, though.
So yeah, last comments on Thebes before we move on, and Dio cries himself to sleep because he worked really hard on his city.
He's already face down in a bush.
We'll just move on then.
He'll never know. It's fine.
No, he won't remember most of this. Okay, general thoughts. Obviously, we've only seen episode 1, but we've been introduced to the world and the concept and the players. What, besides everyone worshipping you, what do you guys want to see out of the campaign?
Can we repeat everyone worshipping us?
One.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Everyone worshipping me and my husband.
Meh.
Can I have gifts?
I don't know. That's the players. That's
When everyone worships me, I will allow it.
Oh,
I would like to
you're playing that, are we?
it's.
I would like to see more travel.
No, of course you can have presents, Aphrodite. Silly.
I'll just get Aries to get me.
Okay, so more travel. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Well, I've built an entire fucking world, so they're going to be traveling. If they spend the entire campaign in Thebes, I see a TPK coming on.
Sorry, dear, your city's gone. What happened? Nobody left.
No, I think an appropriate level of reverence, seeing as the gods literally walk among everyone.
Do like reverence.
I know that you've been making a list, Hecate.
I have.
Yeah, you've
Yes.
actually got a list
course.
with you. That's amazing.
course.
Oh, she has.
Of course.
So yeah, that's one thing I'm going to try. Obviously, the first episode, it was mainly kind of getting everyone used to the setting and how things are going to be going and the story and everything. But going on, there is going to be a much bigger emphasis on religion and giving thanks to the gods and interacting with the gods, which some characters might or might not like. But yeah, you guys are there. You know, for example, if those guys use, is it like, I can't remember what the spell's called, but it's like prayer or...
Bless.
No, it's not. It's the one where they can actually contact a deity.
Isn't it commune with deity?
There's a really high one, which is divine intervention, and then there's a lower one that Talis and Jaffe uses a lot. But yeah,
I was about to go to D&D Beyond. As we all.
But yeah, so there is while Hephaestus Googles whatever that is, there is, there's prayer and there's spells and there's things that that are designed to contact gods. But in this, rather than them contact, roll a dice, do I give them an answer? They've got you guys. They've got the actual gods there to answer them. So it's going to be a much bigger thing.
So I can actually have spies like I want.
Yeah, of course.
Looking out for possibly an absent
Also-
husband sleeping with people.
But imagine if you accidentally sent the prayer to the wrong god.
Well, that might be something that happens. I'm still going to make them roll for it because, I'm a fair DM, but I'm not giving it away for once.
Hera, I do have people. The kind that you would definitely want spying on your husband.
Yeah, no, I don't want them to sleep with him to spy with him. I would like them to find him sleeping with people, not actually sleep with them.
Yeah,
They could probably do that as well.
I think Morn Reaver's right. I think it is divination. Divine intervention is the later one. But yeah, divination, where you kind of commune with a god. What will happen there is, again, as usual, you'll make a check, and maybe it'll reach the god, maybe it won't, maybe it'll reach the wrong god. But I will message you guys through one way or another, and you guys can give an actual answer to these guys that they're looking for.
Cool.
I might advise you, but you guys have been running this for, is it, 3 months, maybe more now?
I think it was November we started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah, 4 months, basically. So you guys have been doing this for a while. So generally in the world what may have happened. Basically, these guys are quite a bit further ahead in the timeline. And some things may change the timeline depending on the player's choices. But essentially, these guys have created world plot.
And stuff.
And stuff, yeah. I don't want to give anything away because, 1, spoilers in general, but 2, it's really funny sometimes. And on that, I won't say too much about it because I still need to finish that report for tomorrow. But tomorrow, I'll be officially releasing the Patreon for it. Which the first tier of the Patreon, which is Mortals, you'll get a monthly God report. So what these guys have been doing in line with the timeline, you'll get a report of. It'll tell you what each God has generally been doing each month. And so you can keep up with their side of things. Yeah, it's been...
No, Harry, you can't become a patron to find out what Zeke's been doing. That's not how it works.
Why not?
Damn it, that's my entire idea.
I know, I was going to say that's Hephaestus' idea.
Hey man, I am working class. If she wants to pay to do that, that is absolutely fine by me.
No, it's fine. I know what he's been doing. He tells me he's an idiot, but I...
Fair. But yeah, so that's the first tier. Then we're going to have the second tier is going to be shameless plug here, but I don't care. The second tier is going to be all of this stuff is going to be available on podcast, which you can do on Patreon, which is great. And then third tier, at the end of each arc, I'm going to be releasing a campaign guide, so that you guys at home can run your own version of Elysium, which should be fun. But yeah, that should be out properly tomorrow with episode 2, so keep an eye on that. But yeah,
When you say they could run their own version of Elysium, I will point out he hasn't told us yet, but he's probably just included all of our email addresses in it as well. So yeah, here you go. Here's the gods. What? We're getting random requests from people in Korea.
I have had like dozens of friend requests from random Puerto Ricans. You guys can have requests from nerds.
To be fair, I told him to do it.
Yeah, they can hire you by the hour. You know, you can be like a nerdy version of Cam Girls. Who cares?
Sorry, what now?
Exactly.
Gods for hire.
Ow. Nothing happened this time.
What did you do, Aphrodite?
I hit myself.
Well, no.
I've just realised I don't have the whip with me right now.
I will throw a boulder at your city. No.
Yeet. Okay, this is definitely going to run over time, but that's fine. I don't care. This is funny. Right, we will finally move on. So, I don't think we've answered any of these questions, but that's absolutely fine, because your answers have been so much... Exactly. But what I've got is so much better. So yeah,
I'm sorry, you had a script? Just no.
a very vague one, just in case we needed it, but we don't seem to have needed it much, so that's okay.
Nah.
Briefly, Ares will probably have some more to say about this, which means that Hephaestus will then have something to say about this. With the opposite.
Something intelligent to say to offset it, yeah.
Like I said, the opposite.
Yeah.
We've had our first battle. Obviously, yeah, things kicked off. We almost had a player die already. We had some civilians almost die already. Some did die. You've talked briefly about how Alma handled that. Bit controversial in terms of a party, but in terms of an actual person, why wouldn't you get the fuck out of there? But yeah, how do you think that battle went? How do you think they handled themselves? Yeah, I'm going to move this over straight to Ares.
We'll go to Ares. Excellent. It was interesting. I mean, it's already been put up that, Alma has taken herself out of the situation, and whilst that puts no favour with me, I cannot blame a 13-year-old for not wanting to be in the battle.
That's fair.
Or a 13-year-old that is not within at least my city. However, everybody else seems to be pushing themselves forward. Obviously, particularly impressed with Rent putting himself forward in the line of fire, but the party generally, I think, acquitted themselves very well. Yeah. They saw a threat and they went and dealt with it.
So we had, like I say, Mercy doing her thing, which was quite good. I think Runt got most of the kills, which is, he's a barbarian.
Understandable.
Mercy went straight into her class. She first thing healed the civilian, which personally I wasn't seeing that. Which gave that interaction later when they spoke to that civilian. It gave Alma something to think about already. I didn't see that coming, but I think she's gone straight into there. I think Alma again reacted very well as a 13-year-old. I think the anomaly, although I still think he played things really well. I think he's getting used to the weapon. Gavril, I think he's the anomaly so far. We don't know as much about him. He's not as easy to kind of get. So
I did enjoy the moment where Runt sort of deadlifted him and they scouted out the hors d'oeuvres.
They didn't kiss. They should have kissed.
Agreed.
What worries me is that was their most tactical moment of the entire thing.
What, him Runt lifting
to scout the odds.
Yeah, it was strategic.
I can only congratulate the really excellent strategic thoughts there from both members.
The only strategic thought. Only.
I don't know, like I say, we had a player down very briefly.
I think that's the problem, is that Gavril came in with a very good effort, but was felled quite quickly, and a little bit too quickly. So wasn't able to shine, aside from the armor, wasn't able to shine in his best way. Well,
to be fair, they are all still level 1.
Gavril's a follower of Poseidon, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
It's no secret. He's got like a 4-pronged actually trident, so a fork. Come on, but still on his armor, he's he's quite clearly a paladin of Poseidon.
How can it be a trident when it's got 4 prongs?
There's
try
again.
It's a quadrant.
God.
Again, without giving away details or breaking Ares' brain, there is a reason for it.
Okay.
Festive.
he's just done.
Because Poseidon is clever.
I thought it was a good point.
It's okay, Ares. Don't worry.
No, Aphrodite. 4 points. 4.
Okay. In terms of the battle, I realise we still haven't mentioned one curveball in there, one underdog, literally. Hecate. How do you think Birch handled himself there? He didn't really do much.
Well, what do you expect? A poor little puppy to do in a fight.
He's got teeth. He's got more.
He does have teeth, but also, he's going to do what his owner tells him to because he's a good pupper, so...
He's not been terribly obedient of Alma thus far. How old is Birch? Is Birch fully grown?
He's a fully grown German Shepherd, yeah. Mainly because the mini I have is a fully grown German Shepherd. But yeah.
Don't ruin our emotion.
I'm not. That's why he's fully grown. I say German Shepherd.
Birch was with Alma, unless you wanted a 13-year-old girl to get involved in the fight.
There he is, little Birch.
Who's looking after her? So
One of the things that I liked was when Alma said, "I have this healing thing that works, right? That will heal someone." Like, I just thought it was really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, getting into that situation and being like... Because I know from experience, you can plan, like, oh, I'll do this in battle. I'll do this. And then, I can use this. As soon as the DM says,
Yeah.
roll for initiative, all of that just kind of goes...
Your bum goes.
Or even you're planning the next, 3 moves you're about to do, and then suddenly someone does something completely different, and all of your plans fall apart.
That happens to me every single time.
What's really funny is that's really commensurate with what actually happens in a real fight as well, because you go, right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then your brain goes, live! and for those of you wondering how often I get into real fights, I had a very tough upbringing. My mother was a very rough. No, I'm kidding. She's lovely. My mum's lovely.
This isn't your stand-up set.
I was going to say, as Hephaestus, your mum isn't that lovely.
Yeah, hey, I am lovely. Thank you very much.
To him.
Not to him.
I agree.
Not to him. Yeah.
He is lovely.
No.
No,
Mum is
Evan's my
fine.
precious boy.
He's still trying to count past 3.
Which is really awkward when we have 4 players.
Hecate, I've got to point out, we've got the reflection of your screen in the window behind you, so it looks like there is a spirit there at your beck and call, and it's Luke.
There is a spirit there.
Also, so much boob. I mean, you should not be watching porn whilst we're streaming.
Why?
Okay, besides Aphrodite,
She done well.
how else am I meant to know how it works? I'm just saying.
Darling, come to me.
I really hope that you can
honey.
say porn on Twitch, because if not, we may have some problems. Oh well.
I think you can say it. I think you can't show it.
Give me a minute. Oh dear. This has gone exactly how I thought it'd go. So thanks, guys.
Badly.
Yeah.
No, it's gone really well. Just nothing like
No.
Yeah, it's-
But yeah, what I was meaning by the original point was I loved it that she just kind of got this healing thing out and was like, will this work? And it was really fitting of her character, her 13-year-old.
like
I just thought it was really
I'm
fitting.
helping with an A.
Yeah, helping!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rule 1 of
agree with
helping, if
that.
you have to say you're helping, you're not helping.
I thought
That's
that was
not
very,
true.
it was very, very sweet, and she was trying, and possibly not very well, but she was trying.
She picked Gavril up. She succeeded.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
but
to be fair to the player, not the character, I know that Ollie is quite new to using spells, so for a complete newbie with spells, I think she did very well. It coincidentally worked really well as Alma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
or as well as roleplay wise. I'm not going to put it all on a fluke as being incidental, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, she it was a really nice moment, and you could see it come out. And more moments like that would be great going forward, especially when she gets more confidence in character, and she's like, "I know this works."
Yeah, especially as she's playing a preteen. Puberty's going to hit at some point.
Oh God, we're all going to hate her then.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no! You had. To
Oh
say
no,
it.
that's going to be
No.
awful. She's going to go through that phase where she paints her nails black and hates all the gods.
Hecate will love her.
Yeah.
Runs away from home,
don't
gets
think
married
she's
to
ever-
someone else.
You've never left that.
Doesn't sound like anyone we know.
Not at all.
Persephone.
If you
Have a stable marriage, fuck you.
you're the everyone does.
What? Noted.
Oh dear. To be fair, so if you see me making Alma make random constitution checks, you'll know why. Roll for puberty.
I'm not going to lie, you need that on a t-shirt.
That's just
Roll.
cruel. That is just cruel.
It's cruel, but have you met me?
Yes, but
Yep.
if
I've
you
been
do,
DMing you for
put it
3
on a
months.
t-shirt, if you put it on a t-shirt, you've got roll for puberty with a nat 1. That is the only way you have that t-shirt.
Yeah,
I rolled
puberty
for-
was the nat 1 of life.
Yeah. Still is.
Oh, jeez.
Uh,
Okay, so we've talked about favourite players. We've talked a lot about the players, which is great, because that's why we watch. Not the immersive world that I created, but,
No,
We're
sorry.
getting to see
It's all,
that.
it's all about us. You should know this by now.
Me, darling. Me.
I'd like to point out they're all egotistical lunatics. I just want you all to make beautiful things.
okay.
Yeah,
Can we
right.
talk about egotistical lunatics in the terms of any other character you've played, Bren?
I'd like to point out 2 things. Number 1, Loki is not an egotistical lunatic. Loki's just a dick.
Lunatic.
And number 2, shut up.
So the rest of them then. Yeah.
Actually, no. I played a really nice Jedi once. I played a really nice Jedi once.
Once.
A 3-year campaign. I played a really nice Jedi.
Okay, we'll save you and move on. So if you had one, because again this is mainly me, but we did see a few interesting NPCs. Was there one that stood out as your favourite, for better or for worse? Whether it's for a terrible Borat accent or yeah, favourite NPCs so far.
I like the Dragonborn. I like the Dragonborn. Fancy voice, yeah.
I liked the halfling.
Yeah. Oh, the servant. Yeah.
And not in terms of him being functionally a slave trader, but in terms of him being so massively up himself.
Yeah, well, it's an ancient Greek campaign. A lot of something I learned from one of my friends in Ezekiel DMing. Almost every NPC either starts off or eventually turns into just a very pissed off person.
Because they're
players,
interacting with
usually.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just so happened that guy started that way.
And continued to be that way.
It never gets better with interaction with the players.
No.
Point.
It depends really on how well they kind of
No.
if they roll anything. Charm.
We haven't seen that so far. Yeah, that's something that I wanted to kind of bring out. I don't think we had one. No, I think we had one good dice roll that entire session.
20, wasn't it?
I think we got one natural 20.
Yeah, I think it was Mercy, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I think maybe.
I think it was.
They'll probably tell us in about 10 seconds when the stream catches.
I think it was
Yep.
Mercy when I can't remember when she was trying to find out some information. I think it was, and
Yeah.
she got a nat 20.
But
And she got all the information.
apart from that, like, as a DM, wanting to not give it for free, but at least let them get some clues so they could move on with this plot. They were rolling really badly in that investigation.
Happens though. Sometimes you just gotta let it happen, and if they fail, it's great because then they figure out ways around.
Yeah.
And the innovative stuff people can come up with at that point always amazes me. Or they'll punch it.
Runt, yes.
And, humans mess up.
Yeah.
And have to find ways around the situations we've dug ourselves into. So
Everybody has a bad day. That doesn't stop when you're a character. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was just.
It does. It sometimes makes sessions difficult when you get. I mean, I've played plenty of them where we all just roll horribly, and sometimes it can stagnate things. Sometimes it can just be that nice bit of flavour that everything happens to be going against you. So,
And I'm not saying, I'm not accusing any player, especially not in my campaign, but not any players ever, or DMs for that matter. That's why I'd never fudge rolls. I know a lot of DMs see the screen as a way of going, not even for to hurt the players, but if they roll to a 20 to hurt a player and they're like, this is going to kill them, they'll kind of say, oh no, it missed, or they won't take the 20. Or some players that really don't want to take the low rolls. I really encourage them. I know I'm not experienced in this in any way, but take the roll because you never know what's going to happen. As a DM, if you kill a player, that doesn't mean it's the end.
No. As a DM as well, I would say that, yeah, you don't... I mean, you can fudge rolls. There are times when I have been tempted to, but I've always end up erring on the side of, well, this is a game of chance in some way.
Yeah.
And that's where you bring in the random element of fate.
Something that I've always stood by is, from experience and seeing it, is never give a choice, never give a dice roll if you're not happy with the outcome, no matter what that is. So don't go... I think I spoke about this on Ichthus, the GM's stream. But don't go, sure, you can roll for it, thinking, unless they get a nat 20, nothing's going to happen. Because whenever you think that, they're going to roll a nat 20. So yeah. But yeah, if you, like, in the case of killing a player, if that kills a player, it's horrible, but so be it. It doesn't always mean the end, especially when you've got a cleric and a paladin and a druid in the party, for example. Or if you're in Greece.
A place that has an underworld.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to very quickly say, for any LARPer that's watching this, he means killing the character, not the player.
No, I don't.
Unless it's Ken.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what I mean. I love Ken. He's so good.
I do love Ken, but at the same time, creepy child follower.
But yeah,
That was one of my favourite bits.
on that as well, I know it's not really to do with this, but something that I wanted to bring up, and I'll probably bring up in a series, is an idea given to me by my first DM and the one that runs the Druid campaign, is the whole thing of death not being the end. It's a really nice concept of what if it is, but that's a good thing. For example,
sometimes it's nice.
For example, players try and revive a character. If you read the wording of resurrection spells, it always says a willing creature.
Yeah.
Aphrodite has a child.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
He's adorable.
Hi, Willow.
You're gonna be famous.
Hello.
Hello, Willow.
Hello.
Hello, Willow. Okay, everybody, watch your language.
Good night, baby.
And watch the subscriptions.
Beep, 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 beep. Oh my god, it broke Hermes.
I broke it.
Willow broke Hermes. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm back. It's okay.
So yeah, for example, in terms of an ancient Greek campaign, if one of the characters, dies, and someone tries to bring them back, what if that character made it to Elysium?
Exactly.
So yeah, just a word of advice to DMs and players. Just because you can be revived, and just because deaths happen, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing in the long run, and it doesn't mean that it's the end. So
See also Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yeah. I guess my main point is, don't fudge dice rolls, not because it's cheating, but because you will miss out on unexpected roleplay.
Yep.
Right, we will move
And
on.
tears.
And tears, yeah.
Tears are always fun.
We collect them and drink them.
Yeah,
later.
the whole range of emotions is. Yeah, but that's what we roleplay for. Is that the whole range of emotions that we don't normally get in our. Well, we can condense it down into a single game, constrained by the rule set, and beyond that point, experience more of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
In a deeply philosophical way.
this game has given me so many tears and laughter already. And
Yeah,
why not even rolling dice?
Yeah, I remember we had to take. We've had a bit of time off recently because of reasons, but at one point we have to take like a whole weekend off because I think I broke like 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you did.
I helped.
Really did.
Yeah, but that wasn't. on the one hand, sorry guys, but on the other hand, that was great moments in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was just like, again, there wasn't any dice rolls, but there were bad player choices that they didn't realise were bad player choices that had consequences.
I had nightmares. Actual nightmares.
You're not the only one. That's the thing. You're not the only one that contacted me saying,
Yeah.
I'm glad we've had this weekend off. I had a nightmare. And although I'm not trying to give people nightmares, as from a roleplay point of view, if you get so into something that it's affecting you subconsciously, I think that's job done. Hopefully.
I didn't. I also had a nice dream as well.
I was going to say, hopefully you guys get good dreams as well. To me, that was one of my proudest moments, is when I give you guys those good moments that they stick with you. Not so much giving you, like, traumatic nightmares, but sometimes. But yeah, okay, talk about the spell. So, this is a fun one to try and make things a little more lighthearted after talking about death and nightmares and all sorts of trauma. We've just had, albeit an interrupted one, a party in Thebes, Festival of Grapes, one of the most famous parties in Elysium. We'll go from where I can see you on your screens, starting with Hephaestus. How would you throw a party in your city?
So a lot of people think that my city is a stuffy place that's all enclosed and everything like that. But if you look properly at it, the entire city is dedicated to one thing. And that's your ability to create something beautiful and lasting. So an entire festival would entirely be about just going in and expressing what's beautiful you think in the world and showing it. Aphrodite jokingly, I think, in a way, said that there needs to be more statues of Aphrodite in her city. There is no city in all of Elysium with more statues of her than mine. Because I believe in showing beauty. So...
You say but it hit me right in the feels.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah,
a city like that and a festival entirely dedicated to people showing what matters to them is my idea of how to celebrate. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just what you think is beautiful.
Lesson for life there, folks. Right, okay, that was... I say light-hearted. This is the first time all of the Olympians have been speechless this entire session.
You did ask Hephaestus first.
He was
just there. He was there.
The amount of times I get messages from them going, "Stop, you've made me cry."
You don't see the messages they send me, don't worry about it. 31 group chats, just from the gods. Just saying.
I'm in about 30 of them, I think.
Only half of them are smut. Okay, Hera, if you were to throw a party in... I've had almost a bottle of wine.
Trouble things.
Thieves.
Hang on. No,
Nope.
Hang on.
Oh, we're not talking about thieves, are we?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, no. I made the
God,
city.
dear.
I made it.
He's now destroyed your city.
No. It's not Eros. It's...
Eris.
Go on, Hera. Put me out of my misery.
Ellis.
Elise.
See, at least you asked that.
Hecate, you had to ruin it.
Thanks, Hecate. You're my favourite. Favourite Titan, at least.
Oh.
If you were to throw a party in Elise, what would you do? Besides have your husband stay in his room the whole night.
You assume he has a room.
Kennel.
Several.
Yeah, cage. What I would do would be to throw a celebration, celebrating the joy of new life, and to basically... Yes, well, you can shut up. Your new life was a mistake. So...
Hashtag baddie.
It's fine.
Okay.
I'd throw a party for that.
I'll remember it.
Okay, let's
but you
go.
throw it the wrong way.
So the joy of marriage is obviously when people get married, and they always throw a celebration afterwards. There's a party, so there would
it's
be
like
that.
It's like a big bridal shower, baby shower combo for the whole
Yes.
city. Okay.
Yes.
I thought I'd help you there before the gods tore you a new one.
Really wholesome.
Because although Hera is Hera, Eddie is absolutely lovely. Can we just go on record before the Hera shade
Eddie's
continues?
lovely. Eddie's absolutely lovely.
We love Eddie.
Also happily married and have 2 kids, so yeah.
Yeah,
Can
but
I
also
just-
Eddie
can I
takes
just
no
point out
shit, which is why we needed
The
her for
chat
Zeus.
right now is hilarious. And I thought I knew how to throw shade, is one reply.
Oh, mercy. I've got big plans for you. Okay, next is Hermes, you hipster. How would you throw a party in
Before you say, I'm going to make this time. I'm going to get wine.
Wine. Nice.
Oh, get me some.
Yeah. How would you throw a party
Go on.
in your city?
Yes, my city.
Again, name
You
your
need
city.
the map sent to you again.
I think I made the map. It took me weeks.
He's had a bottle of wine.
I have it.
Do you want me to hold up the map?
No, just name your city.
Pylos.
Pylos. I was thinking Python Games, which is in Delphi, so that's why I got mixed up. Yeah, in Pylos. How would you throw a party?
Well, at the very least, everyone would have to watch their purses. You know, cut purses being, something that happens in my city. I may or may not be the god of thieves as well. It's a big market city. Festivals just pretty much happen wantonly and randomly all across the place. They're not really a big general affair. They're small localized events that happen as people come passing through the city, and
almost like
pretty much every single night.
Almost like a welcome party every single day.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I like that.
It's with a lot of thieves in the crowd, and then of course sheep.
Yeah,
elsewhere
and music.
And music. Yes,
I mean
mostly on.
Apollo may have bought it from you, but you did, invent the lyre. Ooh.
Yes, it did. Yeah, that was loud.
Yeah, I like that. Thanks for the map, Hephaestus, but that one has not all of them and none of the names on there. But thanks anyway.
That was a lot. It's the thing under it you need to look at.
Yeah, no. Moving on. Aphrodite, besides needing to get a checkup afterwards, what would people do at a party at Nidas?
Am I allowed to say?
Yes. It's not allowed to show.
Okay, so probably a big bowl where everyone can put all the keys. I would probably have a dress code, white or nothing. Hot tubs, water, grapes, wine, dancing, food, lots of entertainment. Yeah. But also, don't forget, asking is important.
It is, even no matter what
Even
you've
in
read.
my city.
No matter what you've read about the Greek gods, this is my version, and consent is
consent is sexy.
Consent in Aphrodite's city is very important.
Punishable by death and ripping your soul apart. Just saying.
Go directly to Tartarus.
Do not pass Gaia. Do not collect 200 drachma.
Normally, the rules go, as most of you know, don't lie and say that you don't know this already, is that normally it's my rules and I change the rules all the time, so my rules goes.
It's like that's the first and only stable rule.
My rules.
So you're basically saying my way or the highway?
Yeah.
No,
If
there's
you don't
no.
like it, don't come to my party.
There's no highway. You do it, or she compels you to. That girdle, though.
Yeah. Thank you, darling. Thank you, dear husband, for that girdle of mine.
Anytime.
Please, anytime, ever, just once would be great.
Just once.
Moving on. Persephone. I guess maybe you might have two answers for this, depending on what time of year it is. But how would you throw a party?
Well, if I'm throwing a party in Hades, it's going to be a very small gathering because
it's about you and me that can get there.
Yeah, the dead don't generally make good company, so that's more of a family dinner.
Yeah, it's not really lively, is it? It's quite dead.
To die for.
Oh, all the puns everywhere.
Well, if you're offering Ares.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, sorry, go on.
A party so Attica is governed jointly by me and, when I am absent, by my mother Demeter. I'm not entirely certain how she throws parties, in either case, if one of us is throwing a party in Attica, there is a lot of food.
Yeah. Being the goddesses of the harvest, that's kind of yeah.
People in Attica looks not well defended, but there's a very low presence of guards. But there's never any crime, and whenever you ask the citizenry, they laugh at you.
The greater good.
Yeah, I know what she means. You guys, you can find out or not. The same.
Funeral rites and celebrations of death and rebirth and the coming spring are important in Attica, particularly around the equinoxes.
Yeah. I think, as you said to me recently, like the equinox, it's a time of reunion. So that's probably when you throw those parties, as everyone getting together and having a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, Ares. Besides, lots of bar fights, how would you throw a party?
I think less bar fights and more tournaments. I think you spend so much time training, coding yourself to be the best you can be, the best warrior you can be, that you do need that time to relax and throw sort of. There would be food, there'd be feasting, there would be drink. Of course, there would be drink, but I think there would be lots of sort of tournaments of arms, sort of to prove yourself.
Yeah,
with different weapons of different mastery. But I think that bit of chance to show what you can do, but not within the pressured environment of training and drills, I think would probably what we'd have in Sparta.
Yeah, so like brawls, contests, arm wrestles, like a frat party almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Less intelligent.
You had your turn, but yeah.
Hephaestus said more Aphrodite statues and Aphrodite, and Ares said tournaments. Interesting.
Uh-oh.
As I said, less intelligent.
I was going to say, the next episode, Ares might be in the doghouse, so we might not join.
Literally. Collar.
It's okay, my boy. It's okay.
You have no idea.
Is that where Cerberus's collar went? Really?
Which one?
Look, it's fine.
He gave me it.
But we all know who would be judging the tournament and who would everyone be trying to win favour for, though.
He tried.
So digging it up now.
He tried.
Yeah, I was going to say, put down the shovel, boy. Put down the... We will save you, and we'll move on to the Titan of Titans, Miss Arcane herself, Hecate.
How would you throw a party in
Lagina?
Well, I was kind of thinking that it probably would just be arcane rituals, really. Or potentially graduation parties whenever people eventually do graduate from my School of Arcane Art.
I've been to a few of those, and they get fucking mental.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking that, like, whenever people are stuck in a kind of little academic ball for a while, that there were probably some, like, creative party games would come out of it.
Okay.
Like a good old-fashioned corpse raising.
Pin the vine on the zombie.
Yeah. Or potentially wine or death.
Snog, marry, fireball.
Yeah.
And then a recreation of the Thriller video.
Yeah, parties in Lagina are very well choreographed.
And everybody gots to fuck.
Well, yeah.
Someone said
It's uniform, so...
Pin the tail on the demon. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. Right.
If there's already a tail, where do you put the other tail?
Wherever
Above
it's
the first tail.
No. Out.
No.
Yeet.
Moving on. Before I lose control of myself.
That would just be on its back.
One DM and...
I don't know what you guys were thinking.
One DM and too many
I know what
goddesses.
they were thinking.
I know what I was thinking. And I can do whatever I want since I rule this world. So in my next campaign, it might just be me and all of the goddesses. Who knows?
You wish.
I can make it happen.
Time as I drive to his house and kick him.
So,
God of traversing any barrier, I'll be there.
then, Elliot, we're playing goddesses in the next campaign, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
You know of the curses that Hera puts on men that try and hit on her, right?
Patient-
Not just women.
Patient
Loosely.
zero, I've got curse cream. Okay, last question before I get divorced before I'm even married. Kind of the same question. I'm going to quickly explain how inspiration works in this campaign. Because, again, you guys might have your own opinions, but in my own honest opinion, the inspiration mechanic sucks balls. Either DMs don't give it out, because they don't know what to give it out for, or it's very rare, or players get it and then covet it and never use it because they don't know where the next inspiration is coming from. So inspiration, from my experience, never gets used. Which...
Unless if it's bardic.
Yeah, bardic inspiration's another thing, and part of me was really sad that none of our players wanted to be a bard. But hey, multiclassing is a thing, and if you want to be my favourite, there you go. But so how I'm working inspiration in this campaign, it's kind of a mix of things I've heard, things friends are doing in their campaigns, and something that's very themed. Is that unlike normal inspiration, in this game, inspiration only lasts for one session. But at least one person will get inspiration each session. Or one character, shall we say. And how we're going to decide that, mostly, is when you guys appear in the sessions, which, stay tuned, whenever the gods appear in the campaign, I'll be dragging these guys on there. And as soon as the campaign is established, we'll be having guest stars as well. These guys can give out inspiration, because inspiration in this world is favour of the gods. You get divine favour, and that manifests as inspiration. Also, stay tuned for these episodes, because at the end of each match of the Deity, not TM, don't sue me, I'm going to get you guys to vote on what player gets inspiration for the next session, and they will have the god's favour, which they can use at any point in that session. Like I say, if they don't use it by the end of the session, the god's favour runs out, because gods are fickle beings.
And we got bored.
Yeah. But during that session, they can use that inspiration for any role they like, and where possible, I will try and flavour it where you guys have given them that inspiration and that divine favour for them to use. So again, we'll go reverse order this time, because then Bren can get the last word.
Oh no!
You'll have it anyway.
Exactly.
Hey!
Starting with the beautiful Hecate. What player, from what you've seen so far, are you rooting for, or what player has done something that stood out to you? What player gets your favour for the next session?
I'm probably going to have a really unpopular opinion, but I think Gabriel.
Okay, why?
Conscientiousness.
Okay.
Was, obviously very aware that there was a child running around what is essentially an orgy. Was worried about Birch and the fact that the only carer seemed to be the young child. But was also, even in the temple, after all of the undead and everything were, wrecking the place, he checked to make sure that the temple was still consecrated.
Yeah. He was very on it. He checked all the bases. He didn't let anything slip through the net, no pun intended. So I get where you're coming from, definitely. Ares, who probably might be obvious, seeing as who we've got, but who are you rooting for so far? Who's made an impression on you? Who gets your favour for this week?
Early on, he's got himself stuck in, and he's got himself involved and put himself on the front line, so Runt is my favour so far. Okay. Not surprising, but also well-deserved, I think.
Persephone, how about you? Again, it might be obvious, but
Yeah, gotta be Mercy.
yeah. Why is that? Besides the obvious.
Because as well as carrying out her duty to the living, she managed the dual role well as healing. She used her knowledge of the dead and funeral rites to drive the investigation into what was going on.
Yeah, she was the one that suggested the mausoleum and investing. Yeah. Okay, I get that. Aphrodite, you beautiful, beautiful goddess, you. Who stood out for you this week? Besides the DM, obviously.
Each of them stood out to me for different reasons. And I was going to say no one because I didn't feel like there was enough to stick out for me personally. But then I had another think, and I thought, being the goddess of love, the most love that I saw that was given out during that was probably from Mercy, from caring for the fallen, and also for her amazing sass and her beautiful hair.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. It was a hard decision, but I'm gonna go for Mercy.
Okay, so we have 2 for Mercy, 1 for Hermes. Who gets your favour this week?
I'm really not sure as well. I have been having a think about it, and been having a think about it for a while. I don't know. I would have to say, as Hermes, Mercy.
Okay.
An interesting blend of tactical mind, the forward thinking with healing the civilian, not necessarily planned forward thinking, but accidental, it worked out. Conceiving of following the path of investigation through the mausoleum, but so yeah, as Hermes, Mercy.
Okay. Hera, mother, caring, lovely. My favourite mum figure, if it's not everyone else's. Who gets your favourite this week?
I'm going to have to say that although I think she's adorable and beautiful and lovely, and I do like Alma, she did not stand out for reasons for favour. So I know everyone was expecting me to say Alma, and I do like her, and if she proves herself some more, then she might get my vote next time.
Okay.
I would actually also give my vote to Runt. Because mainly for the one act where he tried to look after Alma, didn't do very well and failed and grabbed a hat, but he
Didn't
tried.
you grab a hat?
No, didn't really grab a hat. But he tried, and he is doing his god that he follows proud, and is doing what he feels is right, and I like the way he's behaving.
Okay. And finally, Hephaestus. Who are you rooting for so far? Who gets your mildly less disapproving look than usual?
So I said I like things that bring beauty into the world, and those beautiful moments especially, because mortals are capable of them, where gods are generally just petty creatures driven by very simple emotions. So for me, actually, that beautiful moment came from Alma, because it wasn't about creating something that visually looked stunning. It was just a beautiful moment for everyone to see and everyone to interact with, and to see where it goes from there. And I'd like to see what she can do going forward from there. And of course, she's got a dog.
Yeah, which always helps. I mean, for me, the main shock is that no one voted for Birch.
It's because you yelled at me when I suggested it.
I also
Same.
At us.
I also said if it happens, it happens. Just saying.
Yeah, well, you did yell at us, so
It's what I do.
It was 37 minutes of constant yelling. He didn't take a breath.
Yeah, I'm very good at that. My angst is eternal.
It's true. He breathes through
Wow.
ears.
Yeah, so I think by one, actually. Everybody can vote, but Mercy, congratulations. I believe you're still watching. But yeah, congratulations, Mercy. So next session, which is tomorrow at 7 p.m, tune in. You have inspiration or favor of the gods for that session, so you can use that whenever you want, and I will try my best to flavor that based on getting favor, obviously from your deity and so on.
I'll be online.
Yeah. So that was.
I'm on God's course.
So that was a very nice ending. I think you guys were very. It's been a very good first session, and thank you so much for tuning in.
I love the way he was about to say something nice to us and then stopped himself.
I can't do it. If I give, come on, you are
We don't need encouragement.
You are Olympians. You have all the ego ever in the world. I don't
If
need
you
to
all
give you
don't
any more.
show up in my city at some point to get better gear, I'll be horrified.
Yeah, obviously, we want to explore as much of Elysium as possible. I have other ideas for other worlds. Some of them have already been Easter egged in there. Some of them have already been Easter egged in there. So you've seen, like, some of the Norscan worlds and things like that. Not Norscan, Egyptian, Oriental, Shikarian, all sorts of worlds like that. So you've seen those. But I really want you guys to see Elysium. One, because, you know, all I did is map out the cities. It's these guys that made them actual places and made that happen. So thank you guys for that. Hopefully we'll see you in the campaign, and hopefully we'll definitely, you have no choice, I'm going to force you all, see you again same time in a couple of weeks for the next match of the Deity.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So,
Luke,
yeah.
before you sign off, can I say something as well?
Of course you can.
Is that all right? Yeah. So all of you know the lovely Luke, who's been absolutely amazing, and he's put in so many hours into this just to give us and you guys this entertainment. I'm sorry, Luke, it's going to be a shameless plug at you, but there is a Patreon, and if you can subscribe, you can get some free awesome goodies, and it goes to help Luke because he puts so much work into it. And just thank you, dude, for like all that you've done for us. You've given me like 4 months of just some of the best roleplay I've ever had, so thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been amazing having you guys on. When I made that, not mistake, because it's been amazing.
Suggestion.
Offhand
Choice.
It was an offhand suggestion that I didn't think would turn into this. I basically said, "Hey guys, I need help making a world. Will you NPC for me?" And then it's turned into like another campaign, basically, and it's been amazing.
Just as well, if anyone does subscribe to that top level of Patreon, if Luke let me know, I'll chat to you and make an item for his game as Hephaestus with your flavouring involved.
Jeez.
Ooh.
And I will tell you now, every item I have made for this campaign, I have written about 4 pages of dialogue that I sent to him on its crafting.
It's true.
So,
And most of them have made me cry a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
so if you do that, he'll pass it on, we'll have a chat, and we'll come up with something so the players can eventually find it, maybe, if they're lucky.
And if they don't find it, you guys can use it in your campaign. So thank you so much for that, Bren, not Vestus, but thank you so much, guys. You guys have
Can we also put another plug out?
Oh, geez.
Because you're not technically supporting Calm anymore, but it is worth noting and shouting out that you have been supporting Calm, and Calm is out there.
We're technically supporting them until tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, so till tomorrow. So yes, excellent. So yeah, Calm, throw money at it.
Yeah,
Good cause.
It's a great charity. It's a charity that helps prevent. It's a mental health charity mainly based on preventing male suicide, which is the biggest killer in men under 45.
True.
And it's a cause close to our hearts more than you know, for various reasons, both past, present, hopefully not future. But yeah, so it's a cause close to our heart. So if you can donate, whether it's for our fundraiser or whether it's afterwards, our link's always going to be there.
So if you can donate to Calm, that's amazing. On top of that, Questin is amazing. I'm going to put links on there as well. Anything
Thanks.
any of the other gods put on there, anything.
You thought I was going to plug that, but no.
It just reminded me. But yeah, there's some awesome
Start a
stuff on there.
stream.
Yeah, Ichthus has got a stream as well, which some of the gods are going to be players in. They're going to have to get used to being mortals. So there's a lot of stuff happening. So keep it, at the very least, keep on top of social media because we'll be posting all of that stuff. We've had so much support, it's only right we give that support back.
And if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link it to this Twitch channel to support it.
Definitely. If you have Amazon Prime, it costs you nothing. Link it to your Twitch account, you get 1 free sub a month. The only downside is that you have to redo that manually every month.
We'll remind you.
But yeah, we'll definitely remind you. It costs you nothing, but it gives the channel the exact same money. And whilst I don't do this for money, it'd be great if I could do this as a job someday. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, and it'll only help Have a Go Heroes in what they're all trying to do.
Definitely. Oh, hey, and for you guys watching Twitch, you get to see me as a meme because Ichthus just subscribed. Thank you for the subscription. Yeah, they told me to do it, so I did it. I'm a man of my word. But yeah, we won't continue this any longer. But thank you guys for your support and your shameless plugs and complimenting me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you tune into the campaign still. You've all been amazing so far. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow. And just remember, the gods are watching.
Yeah, we are.